Okay, so we're gonna go in the benchmark here for Monster Hunter Wilds, and we're gonna look at a couple things. We're gonna go into options. Uh, Here you can see we're running at 1440. We don't run anything at 4K, so if you're looking for 4K info, I'm sorry, I don't have it. But we're running at 1440. Is there a way for you guys to see straight off the bat what my system is? Okay, so there's the system. Okay, 7800 X3D, 64, essentially 64 gigabytes of RAM. It says 63.09, but whatever. GPU is the 7900 XTX. VRAM obviously 24 gigabytes on that. So it's a full AMD. If you're gonna go AMD, it's gonna be one of the better systems out there. And basically the setting that I have here, upscaling sharpness topped off, render scaling at 200 topped off. You're running AMD native, okay? Disabled frame gen, and then everything else is on the highest setting it can be. Everything else, we're going to do some testing here and see. But one thing that I don't know why it's that high, but I did some testing a little bit ago. There were some other aspects to it as well, but I changed the sky and cloud quality down, and that seemed to help quite a bit. But yeah, everything else is on high. Motion blur is off because, yeah, the hell with motion blur. I don't know of anyone that actually plays with motion blur on. If you do, let me know. I mean, we could test it, but I don't really see a point there. It's not saying that it does anything for, let's just see. Yeah, it doesn't change anything VRAM wise either, at all. So, I'm gonna run this so you guys can see what it comes out to, and yeah, then we're gonna go in and we're gonna test some settings. We're gonna see what you can do to get more out of your build here. That isn't necessarily quote unquote game breakingly bad visuals, just to make it run. So let's get into it. And we are going to see some drops here. Drops down in like the 40s at times. But for the most part, this is going to come out pretty decent.
Okay.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go. And then we can get started.
Keep in mind, I built this PC back in November.
Yeah.
It's my first PC that I've ever dabbled in. And I literally built it, did zero tinkering with anything as far as settings or trying to get more performance out of it. It's just straight out of the box for all the pieces. Just put all the pieces together like a little freaking jigsaw puzzle, boot it up, and out we go. So there's zero tinkering on the backside of this thing. So sure, you can get better performance, but straight out of the box, this is
It's a person.
what you're looking at. I don't think it matters. I have a 2 terabyte SSD in this thing as well, and I think we're sitting at like 600 gigabytes left on it.
That's all right.
So
I'm coming too.
I know that if they get too full, they can cause issues, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's super full. So game looks amazing, by the way. And I'm not going to run through each one of these. I am simply going to let this one run, and then we'll use final screen for the rest of everything. I just wanted to let you guys see basically everything, what I see as far as the max settings on this. It also has ray tracing on. I don't think we went over that, but it is full ray tracing. And as you can see, as we get into this area, it does dip. We're down around 60. We had to drop down into the 40s there. But right now we're dropping, you know, somewhere between 50 and 60 FPS. Another drop, like 49. Down here in this herd, it is going to drop. You'll see it drop down here. Now, according to the Monster Hunter team, Capcom, at this point, with this score, basically the game would be playable. However, you'll see here, don't just go off the score. And low 50s, now we're in the 40s. Okay, so as you can tell, just because the score before was higher, if you're not okay with dropping below 60, this is going to come back as an excellent score at the end. But if you're not okay with dropping below 60, it's not going to be excellent to you. And even with FSR native, obviously, like, the grass still looks amazing. It's native, so it should look amazing. The draw distance is one thing that I wish I could increase, but I did one with the draw increased all the way to 200 rather than the 100 that comes default, and we're looking at like 30 some frames average. Now it's pretty steady at that 30 some frames. It's like 37 or something like that. It doesn't really dip down in the 20s too much, but rough. Now that was without FSR at all, and that was with max everything else, but no ray tracing. So no ray tracing, everything else maxed, draw distance maxed, no FSR. We were getting like 30 some frames per second average. So yes, playable, and that's what it came back as, playable, but not exactly something you'd probably want to play this type of game on. We're going to hit 20,000 right as we get into the village here. And 20,000, once you hit that, it's basically, they call it excellent. So we're going to hit it right as we turn here, and 20,000. And you'll see in here the frames drop again. Basically, anywhere there's NPCs, it looks like you're dropping quite a bit. If you noticed on the boat, it did drop too when it cut back to the NPCs. I'm guessing a good bit of that's ray tracing with the armor and whatnot. Also, something else I've noticed, that little girl is not at the same spot every time on this. Something weird is there a little bit.
Welcome.
Like the last time I ran this, she ran into us.
Please
Go
eat.
ahead, help yourselves.
So this should come in somewhere around 24,500, somewhere around there, I believe. And everything looks amazing. At least to me, it looks amazing. Okay, 24,300-ish. Yeah, there you go. So again, that is our system there. If you're okay with the dips, you're not going to be able to lock it at 60 without getting the dips anyways. You're still going to have dips there, but that's very, very playable. I don't think you'll have an issue with that at all. It's going to depend on some of the monsters, though. Like, I can imagine Raydao would, with his lightning and whatnot, or Arkveld with its lightning / dragon, whatever it is, could cause dips, but we'll have to test that then. But with that said, I will be right back. I'm going to put it into a couple different scenarios here and show you the end screen. I'll show you the different things. Well, we'll just go back to the title screen. We'll change a whole bunch of stuff, and then we will show you the end screen. We won't make you watch through the whole thing again, and I'll report in on the dips and if they were at different spots. But I suspect, you got 3 main spots on the boat when you're looking at all the NPCs. As soon as you jump down into the herd, and then again when you get into the village. Everything else seems to be pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to keep that on. I want to test the clouds because I suspect this is, I don't know why, but something tells me this is a lot. Like it says it's a lot for the GPU. VRAM not so much. Obviously CPU it's fine. But I was getting some weird readings with the clouds earlier. So I want to test that, and we'll see what that does. We're not going to test everything individually, but the clouds kind of have me puzzled here. So I'll be right back. We will keep everything else as is. And we will see what that does to everything. So, see you in a second. Okay, clouds don't matter. I thought something funky was happening with them. With some of my other testing, it was the common denominator. Apparently, I had too many denominators in there. I'm just dumb. All right. So yeah, I mean, you're still sitting at low 70s. We got 24,600. It is going to fluctuate each time a little bit, I believe. I don't think they're going to be the exact same thing. But yeah, I'd say just if you're struggling, that's not going to help you. Going from clouds fully highest fidelity for the clouds to, what do we put it to, medium, I believe. Let's double check that here. Options, medium, yeah. So let's put that back on highest, and we will go back. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn ray tracing off. You know what? I don't see. Is there a difference there at all? I don't see any difference there. There's a difference here. Oh, I see it just slightly. Just barely. If you look at the brush right here, you can just see it. Okay, so we're going to turn ray tracing off, and we're going to keep draw distance and everything at the same amount. And then everything else is at the highest they can be, except for, again, motion blur, because fuck motion blur. So let's see what this does, and we'll be right back. Okay, full ray tracing off, everything else max on FSR native. You're going to get 80. 80 FPS. With a score of 27,000 and a third. So basically 10 FPS for, call it 9 FPS for ray tracing. So if you can spare 9 FPS, you can go like max to the wall, everything. I was actually expecting more. So ray tracing does not, take up a lot. So I'm wondering what we can do otherwise here. If we turn ray tracing on, put that back on high. Excuse me. And let's go with some of this stuff. Like clouds. I cannot tell a difference between those two at all. Is the picture changing at all? Am I crazy? .7 highest 7.83. Let's put that on medium. I want that high. I want that. Water effects. That's CPU. Let's put render distance down to high rather than highest. Doesn't really have an effect on the GPU, but I'm wondering if that's going to help us with our dips, possibly. Let's try that. Shadow quality, we can let's go down to high. Shadow distance. Let's leave that. Doesn't really show us anything. Ambient. Keep that. Bloom, keep. Doesn't matter. Huh. That makes everything more detailed. Would that be worse though, right? That would have to be worse. We're going to test that then. Fog. That's hardly noticeable. Okay, so we put this down. We put render distance down to high, shadow quality to high. Basically, we're trying to see if we can keep ray tracing. I've never been a huge fan of ray tracing. Like, it usually doesn't make a difference, but the sword does glimmer in the sunlight. And that has me thinking. So let's test that. Let's see if that gets you the 9 frames. Again, we did basically clouds to medium, render distance to high, and shadow quality to high rather than highest. So we will be right back. All right. I'd say just keep them all at high. Doesn't make any discernible difference. Again, the real issue is when you get into NPCs. That's when you start seeing dips. So let's see here. What if we go high? Oh. Highest. Highest. Should be it that we changed there. I honestly think if you're running this setup here that I am, I don't believe you're going to have any type of issue as far as running the game until maybe you get into like, if you're going to have an issue, it's going to be like something very specific. And I can imagine most people are going to see that and comment on it. So let's see what this does. Let's see what depth of view does for our frame rate and our score. Because it's on by default. So let's see if that actually makes it worse or better on the side of the score here. Be right back. All right, so again, no discernible difference there. Still sitting at, low 70s, 72 FPS. All the areas that we were dipping before, still dipping, not really dipping it anymore. Obviously, it's very slightly better. I believe the first run was 71-ish. So let's go over here. We will turn that back on. So that's back to the recommended, or the starting default, that is. And I don't think anybody's going to want to be messing with turning your textures down. Holy crap, the amount of VRAM that goes down. High res textures though, like, oh. All right, well, I guess we test it with the next one down. Just see what the jump is, because our, usage up here went way down. Almost 2 gigs, right? What was that? Where are you? Gig and a half. Gig and a half. So I don't suspect that's really going to do anything, because we're not pushing, but let's see what that does. Let's run that quick, and then I want to test one more thing. I heard someone say that Intel here sometimes is better, which doesn't make any sense to me, but we will try it. We will try it. I suspect if you're on something else, something weaker, there's a lot of systems that are stronger, but I suspect if you're something weaker, just disable. Yeah. Your
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to
your
go.
ray effects, and
then
you'll be fine.
Started.
Okay, again, that is not going to get you anything really. Going from highest to high, not really going to help you unless you are struggling to begin with. And at that point, I don't know why you're on the highest setting. Let us check. that one. Native. Highest. Okay, and everything else should be correct. All right, let's see what this one's at. We're again using Intel frame, whatever it's called. Intel XESS. Again, we're using native. See what happens. See if it's better than FSR. Okay, can't say as I expected anything less. The person that said that lied. No, FSR is just better. All right, so now we're gonna do one more. We're gonna see what you need to do to get your FPS if you want to be over 100. So we're gonna change this back to FSR. We're gonna go native. You can go quality. That will help it. I think we're going to go native. We're going to go low. We are then going to go, I'm going to say medium there. Medium, high, high, and I'm thinking this should get you close to that 100 mark. So ray tracing down 9. Maybe not quite. 50 is what they want for default. Go 75. See how that looks. But I think that should get us to right around 100. Let's look. Okay, boo boo. I was thinking about this backwards. You want that all the way up. I believe. I'm going to say all the way up. But we got nowhere close. So we're going to do that. We are going to do... Ooh. What do we got for high usage? Low. Do near there. Ambient. Do medium. and ray tracing off. Let's see what this gives us. That last one was nowhere close. Yeah. Okay. Well, that didn't get us close either. Huh. Wonder what happens if we turn frame gen on. Now I'm just curious. I don't. So if I turn this on, if I do ultra there, and we're gonna do native. Retracing high. Highest. High. Far. Good. Next. And motion blurs off. Okay, that's fine. And then we go back. And we enable this. What does just straight up frame gen get us? I don't want to use it. But I'm curious. If you can just have everything ultra and frame gen will get us like, I don't know, 100, 120. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't like frame gen. I want real frames, please. Please and thank you. Okay, I wasn't going to show this one, but it's going to be the last one we run, so I might as well. And it's that much higher that it is worth showing for anyone who is thinking that this game is going to be super difficult to run.
Exceptionally agitated.
For some, I'm sure, yes. For some,
It's a person.
rigs, it is going to be difficult to run, especially if you're not using frame gen. But using frame gen,
Bring us closer.
it's pretty good.
Right into them.
We're still too far
What do
away.
we do? Hold on.
I'd still prefer to run it at 60 native, no frame gen.
That's all right.
But
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
I
I'm
mean,
coming too.
let's see what we get at the end here. Because individual things, just dropping it lower, I know it's going to mean less for us because of the rig that we have here. But I do think it's fairly optimized. So yeah, you dropping stuff might help you if you're on the cusp. But at the higher FPS, I don't think you're really going to see much of a difference. We're dropping down to the 90s there. Saw an 80 something. This is like my, I don't know, 20th, 25th time watching this, so this is fun. I mean, as you can see, the average does not tell the entire story. I know you guys, when I put my hand like that, you guys can't see it, but the average does not tell the entire story because obviously we're 30 FPS lower than what the average is, and it's just going to pull it up later. But so like even here, you're high 80s, low 90s, into hundreds. How's the grass look when the camera turns here? Right there, the grass looks fine. That's usually what I measure it by. Like, grass is a big tell in a lot of games. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Now, as you can tell with FrameGen, the score is not going up as fast, so it's not taking the fake frames into account, I guess, with the score. But it is smoother looking. Might not be smoother feeling, but definitely smoother looking. Yeah, like this part right here in the desert back there, that brings it up quite a bit. Once we get in to eat the food, that's going to bring it up quite a bit. We usually gain like 1 FPS on average, on our average, around there. So again, 1 FPS does not make or break, but it does kind of skew the numbers a bit. No, we're going to be at what, 17 something by the time we get in the village. All right, getting close to 18. Make this turn, 17.7. That's where you see the dip. Yep, 50 something. Really doesn't do it any justice there. FrameGen was not helping there at the beginning. And we're gonna hit a good bit over 20,000 here. Everything still looks really good, so that's good.
Welcome.
Yeah, see, over 20,000, and the FPS is just
Help yourself.
climbing at this point. See, it's climbing pretty quickly at times, so kind of it does skew the numbers a bit. But that'll get you like in the 120s average, you know? So that's, again, it's, I'm not saying everyone has, I'm not even saying this is the best rig out there. I'm just saying like not everybody has 7900 XTX or 7800 X3D. A lot of people are working with older stuff. So if you can't run it, I feel like it's just, if you can upgrade the graphics card, I feel like obviously just do that. Worst case scenario, I guess get a PS5 if you don't really want to upgrade the graphics card, you don't have the money for that. A regular PS5. I mean, you can get PS5 Pro as well, but you know, then you're $700-800, or you could get a graphics card for that. That's going to do you rather well. But I mean, the basic PS5 is what, 400 or 500? I think you can get the digital for like 4. So you can probably get a graphics card for that. I'm not sure what the lower end ones go for, but they should be able to run it. But again, we're probably not seeing much of a difference because of what we're running. A lower end system, you might see more of a jump by moving stuff down. We just haven't seen it here. I mean, everything else maxed. You take everything else, max it out, FSR native, ray tracing on to ray tracing off. It's like 9 frames average. Who cares? 9 frames. Get out of here. Like, that's nothing. But then again, I mean, that might be, you know, the difference between you being able to play it and not being able to play it. I don't know. But I don't know. I hope everybody who wants to play it can. I hope everybody that has pre-ordered the game. I hope that everyone who wants to pre-order the game, everyone who buys the game eventually can play it with zero issues. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think they did a good job. I think running everything on Ultra with ray tracing and no frame gen, and we were getting like 71. That's pretty good because I don't normally run frame gen, and without frame gen or not frame gen, I don't normally run ray tracing or frame gen if I can help it. But like without ray tracing, 80, like technically you could play it at 30. Yes. Not going to be the best, but you could. 60 is great. You can get 60, you're fine. You're good. You don't need 126 if you don't want frame gen. I'm not going to be running frame gen. I'm going to just be locking it at 60, running with it. I'll probably run with it either ray tracing low or ray tracing off, and then everything else on ultra. But yeah, I hope everyone else can enjoy the game like that. We didn't find too much fluctuation in stuff, moving like individual things around. You could put a whole bunch of stuff down. Yeah, I can tell you if you move FSR from native to quality, you'll get somewhere between 100 and 110 frames per second. But you're also going to notice quite a bit of dip in there as well. And I myself, I just run native. But yeah, you can go down to quality, you can go down to performance. That will help. But individual, that's what I was wondering what would happen there. Individual settings. It's almost not worth it. But again, things will vary by each person, by each rig. So thanks for watching. This is Tilted Glory Gaming. We just wanted to see. Hopefully this helped somebody. Hopefully this was a little bit of insight somewhere. I don't know. I'm quite happy with how it runs. And again, I hope everyone else can run it. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.